Good evening and welcome to the joint meeting of the City Council of the City of Marina Valley Community Services District, City as Successor Agency for the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Marina Valley Housing Authority, Marina Valley Public Financing Authority, and the Board of Library Trustees. The City Council receives a separate stipend for CSD meetings. I welcome you all back for this first in-person City Council meeting. I now call this meeting to order on June 1st at 6:01 p.m. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by myself. Please rise and face the flag and repeat after me.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Marquez?
Here.
Councilmember Cabrera?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Baca?
Here.
Mayor Gutierrez?
Present. All right. Madam Clerk, staff introductions.
Pat Hawkins, not a city clerk.
Steve Quintanilla, interim city attorney.
Mike Lee, City Manager.
Brian Mohan, Assistant City Manager, Chief Financial Officer, City Treasurer.
Michael Wolf, Assistant City Manager, Director of Public Works, City Engineer.
Manuel Mancha, Community Development Director.
Patty Solano, Parks and Community Services Director.
Abdul Ahmed, Fire Chief.
Okay, great. Thank you. Just a friendly reminder that we do offer currently Spanish translation services in the back if anyone is interested or needs this feature. The devices are located in the back and they can be checked out. Before we hear public comments this evening, I do ask and encourage everyone participating to keep their comments respectful towards others, especially toward the individuals that are also speaking at the podium. We do embrace and support the First Amendment right to free speech, including everyone's right to speak at this meeting and share his or her views about issues concerning our city. Finally, I ask the speakers bear in mind that comments will be limited to a specific amount of minutes per speaker. Public comments on matters on the agenda will be taken up as the item is called for business between staff's report and City Council deliberation. Those wishing to speak on any subject not on the agenda or on the agenda may do so now. In order to preserve the meeting decorum, council and staff will not respond during public comments. Any council comments or questions to staff will be addressed during the council closing comments, and then staff will respond to your question towards the end of the meeting. So if you have a question, feel free to ask that question, but just know that we'll respond towards the end of the meeting, just to kind of keep the meeting flowing. Before we have any speakers tonight, actually, Madam Clerk, can you tell me how many speakers we have tonight?
Yes, we have 6 speakers on public comments and 4 speakers on consent. So
Oh.
10 speakers in total.
Okay, so 10 speakers. Okay. Okay, so it'll be on both items. So on non-agenda items and also the consent calendar. So we'll go ahead and have 2 minutes per speaker, and we'll call up the first 3. Please make sure to also line up and just be ready once your once the speaker finishes.
The Angel Lopez submitted 2 slips. So do you want him to address once?
Yes, it's just like a regular council meeting.
Okay.
Yes. Unless he's speaking on a public hearing item, then that's separate.
Okay. So Angel Lopez, followed by Henry Rahman and Robert Then.
We'll put up the timer.
On.
Is there a way to show it here so we can all see? No? Okay. Go ahead and just restart it, and then I'll just tell you when, okay? So go ahead, start now.
Yes, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council. My name is Angel Lopez Ramirez, candidate for Moreno Valley District 2. And tonight, it is a pleasure to be in front of the staff in City Hall, and I want to say hello to my neighbors in Moreno Valley District 2. The first item to bring up is the Box Springs community. For folks that gathered 300 signatures, thank you to Sarah Garza, who brought forward the issue of homelessness near Seneca Elementary School and submitting 300 signatures to help address the homeless situation, which brings me to the next item on that. A federal agency is taking charge with helping to assist the homeless situation, the Social Security Administration, opening advocacy to third-party groups such as nonprofits, faith-based community groups like churches, and basically anyone in this room can act as an advocate to help the homeless situation because many that are homeless do not have a phone and do not have access to the internet when it comes to disability claims. The next item I want to discuss is fireworks. And over the weekend, the entire weekend, with the last council meeting announcement about fireworks, folks in the community are still setting off fireworks. Some areas in the community sound like you are in a war zone, which I can attest to as a combat veteran and wounded warrior. I plead to the council to add additional fines and penalties, not as a punishment, but as a deterrent. We don't want people using fireworks and bothering veterans who have PTSD symptoms. And then last but not least, also, I want to address the deputy in San Bernardino County, Deputy Dominic Vaca, my sincere wishes to the family for their loss. And then on the agenda items, I plead to the council to hold off on any planning commissioner appointments, at least until District 2 is properly represented. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Henry Raman and Robert Then, followed by Elena Santa Cruz.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to make a comment regarding this ongoing and yearly um, notices that I get from the fire department regarding weed abatement. About 20 years ago, I purchased the oldest school in Moreno Valley from the city of Moreno Valley, and about 15 years ago, I ended up selling it, but keeping the portion of 3/4 of an acre right behind it. There's no real distinction between the portion of land that I have and the property that I sold. And every year, right around the first rainfall, I get these love letters from the fire department asking me to make sure that I clean up the weeds. Um, I've had an issue about 10 years ago where I received a notice and I contested it and I won because there is no distinction between my property and the neighbor's property. Yet I was being cited for cleaning up the neighbor's side. Last year during the pandemic, once again the fire department makes themselves very busy, and they came out and they issued a notice and sent their group of people to perform weed abatement. The resulting cost was close to $900, which is ridiculous. There's no trees, there's no shrubs, there's nothing. There's just a little bit of growth that comes right after the rains. And I feel that I'm being targeted for one thing. And I also feel that the city is promoting this group of people that are going around and doing weed abatement and profiting from it. There should not be a bill in the amount of.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. What we'll do is we'll take your information and the time's up.
Okay,
We'll
thank
take
you.
your information. We'll follow up. Okay.
Next speaker is Robert Then, followed by Elena Santa Cruz and Tom Jarrell.
Good evening, all. It's very nice to see you again. I mean, it's been a long time, and I know Zoom filled the square for us, but it certainly is much nicer to be all together and we can see each other's faces And it's just nice. What a great group we have tonight. I'm sure that while we were out, most people shouldn't be surprised that when the American Lung Association did their study again, that our air quality was found to be graded F, unhealthy. Now, I don't know myself who decided that we should be able to breathe anything but healthy air. Maybe that's somebody, maybe you might know, Mayor, you've been on the city council for a long time, or maybe somebody on staff. Who decided that it was all right for all of us to breathe unhealthy air? Breathing unhealthy air, the University of Chicago did a study. It shortens our life expectancy by 2 years. Of course, it affects those who have asthma, and even in children who are out playing, they're sucking in this nasty air. It could have effect on their lives 20, 30 years from now. And the saddest part, if there's a woman out there who's pregnant and she's breathing this unhealthy air, she passes it on to her unborn baby. So that baby is getting the effects of breathing this unhealthy air before it even takes its first breath of life. Now, I'm not naive enough to know that you can solve all these problems with air quality, but you do have a bully pulpit that you can go out and you attend meetings with other mayors or in other commissions. This should be an agenda on every meeting that you attend. And I never hear anybody speak about it other than Councilmember Marquez when he comes back from the RTA saying they're going to get gas buses. But other than that, I don't hear anybody speaking about what we're going to do about unhealthy air, truck routes, and putting warehouses
sir.
next to. Thank you.
Okay, the next two speakers could please come up.
Elena Santa Cruz, Tom Gerald, and Carrie Thin.
Good evening. It's been a long time. My name is Elena Santa Cruz, and tonight I'm here just to thank the city for a lot of the things that have been going on since the pandemic. I personally have a hotspot. I'm sitting in the back of the room working. I've been able to take that hotspot that I checked out from the library to the parks so that I could work because I have to work from home with my kids at the house. So I thank you so much for providing that. I've been telling everybody about those hotspots. It was actually overdue, and without having to go back in, it seems to renewed itself. So I appreciate the no hassle renewing of it. Obviously, I'm still using it, and they just renewed it. So thank you so much for cutting all those red tape that we usually go through with the library or when checking things out. They come after people who are really in need. So being able to tell people to go to the library and get that has been a real help, as well as the free masks. People are buying masks all the time, or my kids work during the times that the masks are available at the job help, but I'm able to go in there and grab some for the family and bring it home. The library has the masks, so I really appreciate that. I came by and saw the grants that you guys are having a picture event for giving out money for the small businesses. That was fantastic, so I thank you for that. And that's all I was going to tell you about. But after the last speaker, I wanted to remind you, you know what else shortens life expectancy? Poverty. So thank you so much for bringing jobs to this city, because we need jobs in this city so that we can feed our children, so that we can provide homes for them, and so that we don't, and reducing the pollution by bringing jobs here so we don't have to drive out of the city. That helps too. So thank you very much.
You.
The next speaker is Tom Gerald, followed by Carrie Thin and Stella Kovalan.
Tom Gerald, good to be back.
Tom.
Speaking on behalf of myself and place I work a little bit at Sundance Center. Mayor Gutierrez, Mayor Pro Tem Baca, council members of the staff and the public, thank you. This is really neat. So welcome everybody back. We're getting back to some semblance of normalcy here. I did want to say too, in the last online meeting, I was there, but I bad handwriting and I couldn't. I tried all kinds of combinations. So, and your people did their job. I messed up mine, so I apologize. And I want to thank our fire, our police, our first responders, our ambulance drivers. Fellows and ladies are out there really putting it on the line, especially this time of year. So I thank them. And but thing I really wanted to talk about tonight is, and I think it's very timely, especially there's the federal government's putting massive amounts of money together When redevelopment ended in California, it was a money grab. I won't say anything else. It was a bad deal. It's the only tool a local municipality has to work with for underperforming areas such as where we are. And I don't say this on my behalf. I say it on the city's behalf. It's a great tool. I know there was abuses, but you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, it can be fixed. It can be made better. You can put safeguards in. You can learn from experience, and it's just a very, very valuable tool. There's a lot of successes, and that can be cited as well. And so I know it's a statewide issue, but I encourage you to use your our lobbyists and our connections, and with the state officials there, that it's something that needs to be brought back. And it won't happen overnight. So sooner we start, the better. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Next speaker, Estela Kovalan, David Zeitz, and Janet Bernacki.
Hello, my name is Carrie Fenn, and I'm a 25-year resident of District 2 and a candidate for City Council. But before I mention my comments on the agenda, I'd like to turn my attention to the horrific acts in Agua Dulce today, and to say thank you to our firefighters that saved my husband's life 5 years ago. It is amazing what our firefighters do for us, and I would just like to say thank you. But moving towards the agenda item, we once again, repeatedly, consistently, and undemocratically do not assign an elected sitting city council member to city committees as a primary representative. That ensures that an elected representative in this city does not have a voice to represent their constituents. I do not understand why a sitting elected member of our city council is not represented as a primary representative on our committees. The people of that district lose a voice, just as we have lost a voice for the last couple of months due to the death of our councilperson, Carla Thornton. I ask that the mayor reconsider and ensure that every single member of our elected city council is given a voice on every city commission, committee, or regional body, that they are duly represented here in front of us today. Thank you.
Next speaker, Estela Kovalan, David Zeitz, and Janet Bernacki.
Oh, sí. Pat, or do we have a translator?
Yep, he's coming.
Okay, thanks. Un momento, ¿ok?
Gracias, muy
Sí, no
amable.
problema.
Gracias.
Gracias. Y porque estás hablando en otro idioma, te damos 2 minutos más, ¿ok? Entonces va a ser
Gracias.
4
Muchas
minutos.
gracias,
Yeah.
Mayor.
So by state law, because of the need of a translator, state law requires that we double the time. So it will be 4 minutes.
Gracias.
Debido a las leyes del Estado, te estaremos dando el doble de tiempo para poder compartir todos tus comentarios. Thank you very
Amable.
much.
Muchas gracias,
You're very
Mayor.
kind.
Primero, Mayor, necesito felicitarlo por esta gran...
Primero habla sobre el...
¿Me escucha ahí?
Ajá,
Sí,
mejor.
muchas gracias. Mayor, quisiera primeramente felicitarlo por esta ciudad próspera, hermosa. Amo a Moreno Valley y por eso mi pedido en la noche de hoy es que si podemos formar en la ciudad un comité multicultural, donde todas las culturas...
Déjalo para que...
Good evening, Mayor. First of all, I would like to congratulate you for this beautiful and prosperous city that is Moreno Valley. First of all, I would like to request the creation of a multicultural committee.
donde tengamos la participación de todos los diferentes grupos étnicos de la ciudad, donde tengamos una flexibilidad en la comunicación, en aprender unos de otros.
where the members of every ethnicity in our city could have the flexibility to share all their opinions and communicate to each other.
Mi pedido es, por favor, de formar el comité y disfrutar del anfiteatro con eventos multiculturales, donde aprendemos de diferentes culturas, diferentes tipos de baile, de comida, donde tengamos una participación activa en la comunidad para ser una comunidad unida.
So my request tonight is to create such committee so we can have the opportunity to participate in it and to enjoy the amphitheater where we can learn about cultures, dances, about culinary arts, and where we can join as a community.
Y poder involucrar a los estudiantes en las escuelas con participar, por ejemplo, en murales artísticos, tener un mural gigante en la ciudad de diferentes culturas pintado por nuestros estudiantes de la ciudad, involucrarlos y ver, hacer una sugerencia de los estudiantes, ¿qué quieren ver ellos de acá a 5 años en su ciudad, en esta ciudad?
And I would like to also involve all the students. Maybe we can have a big wall in the city where they can express their artistic skills, where we can ask the students to express what they want to see in the future of our city, maybe 5 years ahead.
Muchas gracias por la oportunidad de poder escucharme. Dios los bendiga.
Thank you very much for hearing me. God bless you.
Muchas gracias. Gracias. Okay, next speaker, please.
Next speaker, David Seitz, followed by Janet Bernacki and Joanne Steffen.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm here about the consent calendar. I'm opposed to reappointing Ray Baker and Joanne Steffens to the planning commissions. These two have not represented our citizens, and the lack of their ability and unbiased decisions for what is best for our citizens, our health, and our city. I also bring up the point that what is the rush of appointing them now? They have been off the commission since March. Why, if they were that important to the commission, were they not reappointed immediately? It sounds more like we're trying to get something passed through. And I also request that any appointments to the Planning Commission should wait until District 2 has representation. There's also been several qualified applicants sent to the city and to the mayor that have been ignored. These positions like this are very important and should always be chosen without judgment, and with extreme care, because a bad decision can have disastrous results. A decision like this should not be lumped in the consent calendar. It should be brought out and discussed. That way, everything is transparent and clear. So at this point, I would ask that they do not appoint Ray Baker or Joanne Steffen to the Planning Commission until more applicants can be interviewed and see if we can find any better qualified people for the job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Janet Bernacki, Joanne Steffen, and Luis Palomares.
Hi, good evening, City Mayor and council members. My name is Janet Bernabe. I am the organizing director for the Center for Community Action and Environmental Justice, also known as CCAJ, and I'm here today to oppose item A15. So it just arising concerns with the proposed automatic license plate reader ALPR program. Well, we share the same concerns with council members and the city about the desire to tackle issues on theft and carjacking. Our concerns come up with, first of all, with the funding. Where is the funding coming from to be able to support the program? Also, we are concerned in regards to where are the existing cameras already. It actually states on the report that there's already 20 cameras in place, has a system of 20 cameras in place, and that would be integrated into the ALPR program. Also, one of our concerns is, of course, besides the funding, where the funding is coming, but also the data in regards to taking in the data of that. What other agencies will be having access to the data? Would it be shared with ICE? What are the retention policies of data, and how is it going to be secured? Also, the evaluation of what matrix will be used to evaluate the program, and the constituent success program. What will happen if the success program is not achieved? So overall, I'm just here today to oppose item A15 in regards to questionings and also to concerns that we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet.
Next speaker, Joanne Stefan, and the last speaker is Luis Palomares.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I'd like to say that if the gentleman would realize what the qualifications are to be a planning commissioner, he would know that I'm more than qualified. And maybe he should look that up, because I've been in this city for 32 years. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it on?
Just speak a little louder. Yeah.
Okay. It's the mask. Can I remove the mask or no?
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. I've lived in the city for more than 32 years, and the gentleman seems to be questioning my qualifications. He should look up what the qualifications are to be a planning commissioner, because I have. And sitting on that planning commission, I've learned a lot. I know that Mr. Cabrera was new to the council, and I'm sure through all the time he's been sitting there, I know he's learned a lot because he's come a long way. I've seen it. I've seen him grow. I grew as I was sitting in that seat. I really am amiss that Angel Lopez lives in my district, District 2, and would want to wait to really put somebody on that seat, whether it be me, Ray, or anybody else. Because I know that everybody needs more than just 4 people sitting there. You really do. I mean, it's unfortunate. I love Carla Thornton. I ran against her for that seat. But I had no problems with her because she was doing a great job. And I will never, ever say anybody sitting on there doesn't. I may have had my difficulties with some of them, and they weren't really personal. It had to do with the city. And I'm not going anywhere soon. I love my city. I want to see it grow. And I'm not the only one that has voted any different way except for my conscience, the way the city and my constituents have told me. I've asked questions, and I don't vote simply because I want to vote a certain way. I take into
Thank
account
you.
everything.
Thank you.
Luis Palomares.
Luis Palomares, community activist. Wow, I want to give honor to who honor is due, our veterans. That was yesterday, our Memorial Day, and to Carla Thornton. I mean, just to talk about her right now, she was an amazing woman. She served for a long time, and just at her prime of her life, all this happened with her. So I just want to salute her and all our veterans. Thank you. I want to say something to the police department. I think they're doing an excellent job. They can't be everywhere all the time, but they're doing a great job. Also, the fire department. They were at my house, I believe was March 20th. If I wasn't for them, I probably would have been gone because they saved me. I had a real bad asthma attack, and they took care of business. I was in the hospital for 5 days with that. And I already had the COVID in January. That didn't even do that to me, but my asthma did. So anyway, I like to, give honor to who honor is due. Now, these people that are here, the Lopez and the Vans, and Wow, here we go again. Gloom and doom. Come on. LA County, there's no room there. Every surrounding county is building logistics, and they have thrown a monkey wrench in this. We're 10 years behind here. Let's get this train going. Let's go forward. And I mean, when there was an appointment for, it came to the council, an appointment for the planning commission or for that second seat, Carla's seat, they were in there. They wanted to get that appointment in. Oh, that was okay then. What hypocrisy. They were in there throwing their name in the hat. Can you tell me? Do we have to go another 6 months without a commission? Come on, let's fill those seats and do it quick. And I want to say about the amphitheater, wow. The 4th of July, great. Man, this city's going forward. Thank you to this council. But it's Marcus with the monkey wrench in there every so often. But thank you so much, Mayor, Mrs. Baca, Pro Tem Baca, our staff.
Thank you, Luis.
Wow, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to, oh, Madam Clerk. Okay, I'm closing the public comments. We're now moving to consent calendar. Before we move to the consent, well, at the consent calendar, I do want to thank some of the folks that have been appointed by me and subject to ratification that are here tonight. I do see many of you and also some kids out there as well from the ELC. So I do want to thank you for being here tonight. All items listed under the consent calendar is considered to be routine and non-controversial. Sections A, B, C, and D, and E. All of those items that we adopt are separate motions by each of the agencies that we oversee. At this time, since we already heard public comments, I'll ask if there's any items to be discussed or questions. Okay, if you could please press your speaker button. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Baca.
820, please.
Okay. Councilmember Marquez.
Also 820.
Okay, well, we already have 820. Okay, Councilmember Cabrera.
Items 813 and 815.
813 and 815.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start with 813.
Excellent. Good evening, everyone. 813 is an item to award a contract for construction. It's consists of asphalt work and paving the walkways for the San Juan Bautista de Anza Trail, which spans across the entire city. But this particular section is for a section between Iris Avenue around Paris Boulevard all the way to El Potrero Park, which is around LaSalle and the LaSalle Sports Park. So it's for construction of that stretch of the trail, which is something that we have been waiting for a long time. I know it's been in the plans for years. We finally got the grants awarded, I think sometime last year, earlier this year, and now we're finally actually going to spend the money for the construction of that section of trail. So really excited about it. Just wanted to make sure that I point this one out. I want to thank staff as well for your continued work on this project, and let's get the rest of the trail done. I know we'll get it done. Thank you.
815, Councilmember Cabrera, you can go ahead and ask your questions on that one or
Thank
comments.
you. So A15, actually, a lot of folks reached out to me and possibly the rest of the council on this particular item. And I've heard a lot about the successes of the program. And, I do believe that it will be good in the long run for reducing crime and improving response rates. So there have been some concerns that have been brought up. And so I want to request that A15 be continued to our next city council meeting so that we can vote on it on June 15th. And so I'd like to make that request right now.
Okay. And that, I believe, who put that item on? Was it staff? Or it came from the public safety, right?
Yes, it came from the Public Safety Subcommittee. We're prepared to answer any questions we have tonight.
Do you want to move that to?
And actually, one question,
Okay,
one
go ahead.
question before we move forward with that. This particular item, Steve Q, you're here. It's on consent calendar. So if we take a vote on this, assuming it is approved and it moves forward, will there be a second hearing, a second reading, or is it only this vote and it's done?
It's only this vote.
the resolution.
Okay, so yes, I would like to request that this item A15 be continued to our next regular council meeting.
I second it.
Okay. Is there a reason to have it continued or?
Yes, so to make sure that we address the concerns that have been brought up by various legal groups and also the community to allow some more time for input. And our last meeting is June 15th before we go on recess. So 2 weeks, I think, is more than enough to have community input.
Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, 8:20, we have Mayor Pro Tem Baca.
First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone that applied for the Emerging Leaders Council, the Planning Commission, and all the other commissions, especially the Emerging Leaders Council. I just want to say that I am so proud of all these young people that want to be appointed tonight and their families that are here to support them. And you can believe that you have my support 100% because you're the leaders of tomorrow, and you're applying, you're being pushed by your families and supported by your families and your school teachers and the administrators at the schools to get involved in the community. And I'm just so proud of you. Just want to let you know that. And as far as the planning commission, I think that the two members, I watch the planning commissions and I've never seen anything disastrous on the planning commission. I think that you're doing an excellent job. And I think it's just a reappointment of two people that have dedicated their lives to serving the people. So thank you for that. And then we have all the other commissions. And the one that I'm looking at is the citizens at Public Safety Advisory Ad Hoc Committee that have been doing a very good job in learning about the city and learning about public safety, that I'm hoping that on June 15th, they'll have a presentation for you about the work that they've done and what they've learned. So keep up the good work. And once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your service and your dedication to the city of Moreno Valley.
Okay, and then Councilor Marquez.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor.
Mhm.
820 also. What I like to do is take a separate vote for each item, for each committee that you have nominated. And I'll tell you why. When it comes to the Planning Commission, we should have term limits. We have some planning commissioners who've been on there for 12 years, 15 years. Things change over that time. You continuously repeat it, re-signing, reappointing the same people over and over and over. There's other people out there that have great ideas, and they might come to Planning Commission and say it, but it never gets carried out. So my thing is, give some other people a chance. There was many committees before that there was no reappointment right away. And that's true, like one of the speakers said. We have no representation in District 2. Myself and Councilman Cabrera has been handling that. And I'll tell you, excuse me, I'm talking. I don't understand why we keep reappointing the same people over and over and over. So I'm asking that we vote on each of these committees. And also, a number, well, there's no number to it, but council committee participation. If you look down that list, I don't see Marquez on there. That's strange, isn't it? Wow. I think I was elected by District 3 twice, not once, but twice, overwhelmingly elected. So not including me on those committees or any of these committees, what does that say to District 3 residents? You don't mean anything in this city. Why I'm not on there? I have no idea. I have not made contact with the mayor. I shouldn't have to. But this is what he has on here. And he wants me to okay it and vote on it tonight, well, I like a separate vote and see where it goes.
Okay. Well, just so you know, we'll go ahead and pull this item. I'm going to pull this item for separate, the entire item, not item by item. And we'll have either the city attorney or city clerk speak on that. You can ask your question on that item. But, there's actually some state law that talks about this item coming up. So I'll have the city attorney, you can direct that question to the city attorney once we get to that item. But we'll do a separate vote. We'll do a separate vote for the entire slate. And we do have, Mayor Protem, did you have a question?
No, I just wanted to add because some comments were made. If I recall, Councilmember Marquez, you sent a letter in asking to be taken off the committees and that you no longer wanted to be on the committees. And if you've changed your mind, I believe that you should send another letter changing your mind and sending it to the mayor, asking to be placed on certain committees, commissions, as you wish. But if you don't speak up, no one's going to hear you. That's what I do. I communicate with the mayor on a weekly basis to touch bases. And I always ask which commissions, I would like to be on. And that's the communication I have. The mayor cannot read my mind and I don't expect him to. So out of respect for the mayor, and because the mayor it's his duty to appoint, it's our duty as council members to ratify, not to appoint. Thank you.
Okay.
So
we're
I want to rebuttal that real quick. I can show anybody my phone how many times I've called the mayor, text the mayor, called the mayor, no
Okay,
response.
Councilmember Marquez, you've
Not out
actually
of
sent me
order.
an email saying you didn't want to be on any committees.
5 years ago,
Okay,
5
that's what you
years
did.
ago.
You sent that.
But I have
Okay, we're
sent,
moving forward. Okay, so we're going to 820.
Mayor, I do
Item
have some
820.
comments as well.
Okay, is it on 820?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to start 820 first, and then you can make your comments on the item. Okay, so item 820, let's go ahead and we'll first do a report, and then you can ask your questions.
So that was questions, and then was that deliberation or questions?
We're going to go to 820, and then you'll be able to ask your questions, and then we'll go to deliberation.
Okay, that works.
Okay. All right, Madam Clerk. We'll go ahead and start with just 820. Take it as a separate item.
Okay, these are the mayoral appointments to various boards and commissions and the city council participation to the various boards and commissions. The mayor has presented this item as a slate of appointments. And I'm going to let the city attorney read the government code that stipulates why it is put on here as a slate.
Actually, I won't bore you with reading the government code, but the city clerk had the opportunity to discuss this issue earlier today without any knowledge about, the background. But however, there is a government code provision. It's section 40605, and it provides that in general law cities where the office of the mayor is an elective office, the mayor, with the approval of the city council, makes all the appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. And in the agenda packet, the mayor has provided a slate of all his appointees, which he's requesting that the council approve or ratify pursuant to section 40605 of the government code. So I believe in light of the mayor's authority to make all the appointments to the boards, commissions, and committees of the city, and his specific recommendation that the council approve this list, the slate, as we have in the agenda, I believe that the qualifications of each of the prospective appointees is a non-debatable issue. This is based on my analysis of Robert's rules and other administrative procedures. So this means that it would be out of order to make a motion to take a separate vote on any individual or any subset of individuals listed on the mayor's slate of appointees. I'd also like to point out there's also an attorney general opinion, and the attorney general opinion provides that unless otherwise specifically provided by statute, the city council of a general law city, which Moreno Valley is, which has an elected mayor, which we do, does not have the authority to direct the mayor to appoint a particular person to a board, commission, or committee. That's right out of that particular AG opinion. So this same attorney general opinion also held that the council's role under section 40605 of the Government Code, and I quote, begins and ends with approving or withholding approval of appointments submitted to it by the mayor, which in this particular case, the mayor has presented his appointments to the council as a slate. So again, this issue was brought up earlier, had an opportunity to discuss it with the city clerk's office, and in anticipation that something like this might happen. So bottom line is that you're being presented with a slate, and the recommendation in the agenda is to receive and confirm the slate of mayoral appointments, and there's the list. And so the vote should be a vote up and down on the entire list.
And then just to clarify, we do have committees, city council committees that are subject to ending every 6 months. So that's why those items were placed on here. There were some comments from the public about, process and those kinds of things. It's a very thorough process that we go through, as far as, the candidate submits the application, it gets screened by the staff. From there, it moves on to the department level, and then they're usually interviewed by the department, from, let's say it's Parks and Recs, or if it's, whichever other, maybe the utilities department as well. And then once it makes it through that level, then it goes to me, and then I interview them. And then, so not everybody, what I'm trying to say is not everybody will get an interview, just like not everyone will receive, an interview for a job. We just had one other position, I think it was 155 applicants. 155 applicants. You can't expect, to interview 155 applicants. You have to screen. And then we go through a very thorough background check. And a lot of times that background check can take months, sometimes a month or 2 months. So I believe that's what actually kind of happened with Ray and Joanne. They were kind of stuck in the background check process. So it hadn't cleared. So that's kind of what happened there. But yes.
Oh, Mr., just for the record, in case there are any attorneys out there, this Attorney General opinion is dated February 13, 1998. It's AG opinion number 97-1103. That's when Dan Lundgren was our Attorney General.
Okay, thank you. And we'll go ahead and start off with council questions. Okay, we have Mayor Pro Tem Baca. Oh, this is old? Okay. All right. We have Councilmember Cabrera.
Thank you. And this question, I think, is going to be for the city clerk's office. Was curious. I know the mayor mentioned that was 150 applications for, I don't know if that was for one particular board or commission, but if you could please elaborate. I know you are in charge of receiving the applications, logging those, filing them, keeping track of all of that. Could you just kind of let us know here, because I'm not aware of how many applications we had specifically for the planning commission first over the past, say, from January of this year through now. How many applications have we received for the planning commission?
If I remember correctly, there have been maybe 6.
6 applications since
And
January.
then we also, just so that you know the process, we intake the applications, and the applications remain active for a year. So once your year is done, then your application is no longer active.
Okay, so basically they expire after a year.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and of those 6 applications, because they have to go through background checks and make sure that they do in fact qualify to be appointed or nominated for the planning commission, for example. Of those 6 applications, how many successfully made it through the entire process, background checks and everything? How many of those 6 cleared out?
What we normally do is we'll intake the application, we review to make sure that they meet the minimum qualifications, and then we forward them to Mayor Gutierrez. Mayor Gutierrez will then tell us which ones will be moving on to the other processes.
Well, it gets forwarded to the department, and then
And
they,
yes, to the department, and then they also review it and then make a recommendation, and then from there, Mayor Gutierrez will make the recommendation for us to move them forward.
so at any one of those levels, it could stop if there's, a lot of red flags or anything like that.
Okay, so it's besides the background checks, which is legally required, to be a successful applicant. It's kind of subjective, basically up to the city clerk's office or the mayor to say this person can move forward or not in the application process.
We really, we'll just, all we do as the city clerk's office is make sure that they meet the minimum qualifications, and then we'll move them forward. We don't make any decisions on the applications other than are they complete and do they meet the qualifications?
Understood. Okay, so let me see here. In terms of questions, I think that's all I have. I'll have some comments for deliberation. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Councilor Marquez,
Yeah.
we're on council questions.
Yeah, real quick, Steve, when were you advised that this might be a subject brought up at council meeting? You had mentioned that you anticipated this to happen. When did this, and who brought this up to your attention?
The city clerk.
City clerk did. And how long ago did that happen?
Oh, Pat, it
Um,
was before lunch.
Well,
Yeah,
why-
but we had already discussed it even when, yeah, today, but we discussed it last.
Well, we discussed it at the time that you proposed putting it as a
Yes.
slate.
It was last week, the originally, and then today we just made sure that we had all the other information ready.
Oh, it's kind of funny because in my staff meeting Thursday evening or Thursday morning, this page wasn't on my draft. So why wasn't it on my draft when I had my staff meeting on Thursday? Shouldn't all council members be informed about what's coming up at a council meeting?
Mike?
Mayor, members of City Council, actually on Thursday, it is a tentative draft of the agenda, and the agenda is not finalized until it is published, probably Thursday night. So, as things happen, sometimes the agenda item could get pulled, or it's not complete, and either the city manager or the mayor could decide to pull that particular item from the agenda. So when I do meet with the council member on a Thursday, it is still in the draft version until it gets published.
So bottom line is, we knew this was going to happen, but you neglected to give me that information at a staff meeting.
I'm sorry, are you directing that to me,
I'm
sir?
directing it to our city attorney.
Oh,
I recall having a staff meeting.
Not with you. I didn't have a staff meeting with you.
Oh,
I'm just saying you knew about this. Why wasn't it brought up before the Thursday on the draft agenda? If you knew that you anticipated this. Don't you approve of this?
oh, no, I don't approve
City
the
attorney, you
agenda.
don't approve
No.
of the agenda.
Nope.
So legal doesn't,
Oh, I see
at-
the items on the agenda. We have an executive team meeting every Wednesday.
thank you.
where
That's what I
Mr.
just
Lee-
wanted to know. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you. And just to clarify, this issue happens to come up every 2 years or every so-and-so time. So I think even Martin, who was our previous city attorney, had opined on this issue before, because there always seemed to be some kind of hiccup here. But I think that the city attorney kind of explained it. But this has happened before, where people have questions. Okay, any other questions? No? Okay. All right. Okay, we'll go to, actually, we don't have public comments on this one. So we'll just go straight to deliberation on this one. And, okay, I do want to just start off by just saying that it is very, very important that we ratify this list. Number one, we have many city council committees that are subject to ending by this June, because every 6 months we have to put up new appointments. So, that's one of the main reasons why there's a long list of those council committee participation on those items, and is to ensure that, that we can continue to function as a city, because we have to have a finance subcommittee meeting. We have to have a public safety subcommittee meeting. These are things that we as council members serve on, and, we do the bulk of the work there, and then we recommend it to the city council. So it's imperative that we do get these commissions approved. As far as, some folks saying that they haven't been on or haven't or whatnot, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant in the sense that, um, you know, I've heard from folks, actually only one person, that he didn't want to be on any committees. So, you know, I recall that. But and as far as the ELC, this is a new revamped program for our youth that we're going to have 40 young adults really excited about this. They're excited. Actually, many of them are here tonight to get work, done for our youth. And so anything that's going to be youth related is going to be going to them, and then they're going to be providing their input. Also, our Parks and Community Services Trails Committee. We have the Senior Citizens Advisory Board, Traffic Safety Commission. All of these have an end date that's coming up. And so that's one of the reasons why it's all been put here as an item. So I'll just leave it at that, and we'll move on, okay, to Councilmember Cabrera.
Thank you. So a couple of comments here on this item. Well, first, I just want to thank everyone in the public who's here at the council meeting, who submitted an application, made it through the process, and your name is here on the list. Really thank you for stepping up to the plate, being willing to take on that responsibility, and being those representatives for the community, because we really need it. We need folks to take that weight on your shoulders and be willing to give back, to give your time, to give your will and your effort to improve the city, and to basically propose new ideas, to provide fresh insight. So just want to thank everyone in the crowd who's here today for that. In particular, the Emerging Leaders Council. I'm the council liaison to the ELC, and we've been able to do quite a few things over the years that has been in existence. And it's really good to see a large pool of applicants, because it's been, kind of up and down trying to get folks to participate in some boards and commissions. But this is really nice, really refreshing to see. And so I'm 100% on board with, basically all of the appointments on the list here. And City Attorney, thank you for your legal advice there and your legal insight. Appreciate that, providing some context here for the item. And there's one particular commission that it has some very, very, very important decision-making power. That is the Planning Commission. It is just right before the city council, changes of zoning, approving plot plans, things like that. You make very, very important decisions. And I do tune into them every now and then. Joanne, thank you for being here as well. I don't know you too well, but I have gotten to know you a little bit over time, and I think you do have good intentions. I don't have anything, any personal issues with you, but I think you do a pretty good job, on the Planning Commission. Now, the other applicant, I think last name Baker, I don't really know him. I do not know him. I've talked to him maybe once or twice. I think he's been on the Planning Commission for a long, long time. I don't know exactly how long, but I would like to at least sit down, talk some more, interview. And again, I don't know how many. It sounds like there was tons and tons of applications for all these boards and commissions, and this was posted on Thursday. I found out about all of this on Thursday. There's just not enough time, even if I wanted to meet with 150, 200 applicants, to sit down and even have Zoom meetings. It's just not enough time. It's not reasonable or realistic. So I agree with everything on the list, but and I understand that it should be approved as a slate, and in this general law city, Moreno Valley. The mayor has the power and the authority to make nominations, but the entire council has to approve of that list. So that being said, the mayor, from my understanding, also has the authority to change the list, to amend the list, take names off, put names on, as he so wills. Basically, for the planning commission, we've seen the last week, the planning commission meeting was postponed twice due to lack of quorum, not enough people. We only had, I think, 3 members right now on the planning commission, which is unacceptable. And months ago, I actually reached out and requested that we put names up, that we bring a list to the city council, and finally we have that list here before us in June. I requested this months ago, earlier this year, because I saw these issues coming, lack of quorum for the general plan update, which is huge. It's very important, and we haven't been able to meet. The planning commission hasn't been able to meet because there's not enough people attending the meeting. So that's an issue. And so basically where I am is that I support the item amended to approve everyone on the list, but bring the nominations for the planning commission back to our next council meeting. And furthermore, I think that we need to fill all the positions, including the alternates. We need to have a full planning commission. It sounds like we have several applications. We can reach out and ask for more. I have a background in construction. I run a small business with my father. We do remodeling. I think it's important that, Joanne, you have a background, I think, in real estate. That's very important that we have that insight. I think we should also have, whether it's architects or contractors or engineers or urban planners on the planning commission as well. So I support the item as presented, except for the planning commission appointments. I would like to, I recommend and I request that we bring the planning commission appointments back to our next regular council meeting and really put some effort into filling all of the positions, because we have the applications. We just need to put the names up. So, those are my comments. Thank you.
You have a yes.
I'd just like to make a quick little comment as kind of a sidebar, because there was some discussion about background checks. And so when we do a background check, a criminal background check, we're not allowed to deny folks appointments simply because somebody's been convicted of some sort of offense. What we're required to do, the law requires us to make an individualized assessment of whether the conviction history of the applicant has some sort of direct or adverse relationship with the specific duties of the job or the position. So we do review those. Not that I'm saying that anybody had any conviction record, but that's the whole purpose of a criminal background check.
Thank you. And then just to make a comment, it's presented as a slate. Just like the city attorney mentioned, it would be out of order to ask for it to be separated. This is the item. You guys have asked for applicants, and now they're here. It's gone through a process. It has to go through interviews. It has to go through the background check. They're finally here, and they're waiting to be appointed. And so this is what we have tonight. And so, I ask, you've asked for a list. We have the list here tonight. And I'm submitting this list to council for ratification. And we do need to have many of these members appointed, including ourselves, to several committees, like the Finance Committee, the Public Safety Committee, in order to continue functioning. And it's imperative that we approve this. Mayor Pro Tem Baca, did you have comments?
Yeah, I think we're spinning our wheels here. But yes, the mayor has the authority. I could say, well, I don't want this one, I don't want that one, and this one's been on the planning commission for so long. But that's not my place and that's not my duty. That's taking things personally. I have nothing personal in this. I'm here to represent the constituents, and to support the mayor in his appointments because that's his duty. It's not my job to say, okay, Tom Gerald, you're going to be on the Plan Commission. Luis Palomares, you're going to be on the Library Commission. No, that's not my job. My job is to look at the list, and if there's nothing egregious, nothing that to pull, you know, information that I have that someone is not suitable, then I would bring it up. But at this point, I mean, we have meetings with staff starting on Thursday when the agenda comes out. And all last week, we had opportunity to speak to the mayor about the appointments. That's what we should do. The mayor is not a mind reader, and we have the Emergent Leaders Council waiting to be appointed and sworn in, and it's a slate. And if you want to vote no, vote no. And you know what? No one will get appointed tonight, and then suffer the consequences because it's going to, that will be a disaster. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and, Madam, oh, okay. Marquez, did you have comments? You haven't spoken?
No,
No, okay. Madam Clerk, go ahead and call for the vote, please. Or actually, I think now you can do it with the screen, right? Go
I'll
ahead
make
and
a
just do
motion to approve the consent calendar,
Oral, yeah,
and we're going to have a separate vote on 820?
yeah, it's on
Yeah,
820.
the separate, so I make a motion to approve the consent calendar with exception of 820 for separate vote.
So
Second.
this is the consent calendar.
No
Second.
second?
Okay, and a second by Councilmember Marquez. Okay, and then now entertain a motion for item 820.
I'll second. I'm sorry. I motion to approve 820.
Councilor Cabrera.
Yes, Mayor, I would like to propose and submit an alternate motion to approve the list, amending the list to exclude the planning commission appointments and approving everyone
Okay,
else that's
thank
on the
you,
list.
Councilor Cabrera, but like I mentioned, it's a slate and it's the entire slate. And the city attorney already opined, and we've had a previous city attorney, Martin, who opined about that as well. So it's the entire item, you know, for our youth, for the commissions, the committees, that everyone that's here, that's the motion.
And
That's the
you
motion.
do have the authority to change the list, but you're
Okay,
choosing
So Madam
not to.
Clerk, go ahead and please call for the vote. I don't actually, but go ahead. No, just go ahead and call for it. I mean, on the screen or whatever. Okay. All right. So we have Councilmember Marquez and Councilmember Cabrera voting no. Okay. Okay. I do apologize to the members of the public that are here tonight. It's very unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. But this is what we have right now. And very, very unfortunate that, you know, they voted no against many commissions, many boards, and many youth that are here tonight. Very, very sad. We'll take a 10-minute recess break from here. Thank you and welcome back to the City Council meeting this June 1st, 2021. We'll go straight to item F1, which is a public hearing to adopt substantial amendment number 1 to the CARES Act amendment to the 2019-2020 Annual Action Plan reprogramming of CDBG funds. We'll have a report from our Financial and Management Services Assistant City Manager, Brian Mohan.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem, council members. The item before you tonight is to conduct a public hearing to adopt the substantial amendment. In essence, the substantial amendment will use the available CDBG CV, standing for COVID, reprogram funds to increase 3 programs that have been very successful over the last year during the pandemic. They are the Strive MoVal program, Expand Public Wi-Fi Network program, and the Senior Nutrition Program that is collaboration with Family Services Association. The other item is a new program, which is a job training program in collaboration with Rising Stars Business Academy. It is completely detailed in the staff report. So at this point, I will defer for any potential comments. And that will conclude my presentation before you conduct the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Any council questions of staff? Okay, the hearing is now open. Okay, any public testimony, Madam Clerk?
None.
Okay, go ahead and close the hearing. Any deliberation? Okay, I entertain a motion by council to approve staff's recommendations numbers 2 and 3.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we'll go ahead and vote for this. Okay, item passes. We'll go to item F2, which is a public hearing for 3 national pollutant discharge elimination system mail ballot proceedings. And this is a report from Financial and Management Services.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. Again, this is a conduct public hearing for what is commonly known as NPDES or the National Pollution Discharge Elimination System. There are currently 3 developers and 4 properties that are associated with this particular item tonight. These developers, as approval of their project, it is conditioned that they mitigate impacts created by their development project and to minimize the impact to the general fund. They need to provide an ongoing funding source for the impacts their project will have on the city's stormwater management program. And the property owners have requested that the city conduct this public hearing to be placed on the partial charge of their property tax bill to satisfy the requirement as conditioned for their development. At this point, that concludes my presentation, but I am available for any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Any council questions? Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and open the hearing. Any public testimony, Madam Clerk?
None.
Okay, close the hearing. Any deliberation? Okay, seeing none, I entertain a motion to direct the city clerk to go ahead and start counting, open and counting. Marquez made a motion, second by Cabrera. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and vote for this. It just says mover here.
Marquez made the motion.
And Cabrera was the second.
Did you vote or no?
No, it just says mover here. Go ahead and just call the roll call vote.
Okay, Councilmember Marquez?
Yes.
Councilmember Cabrera?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Baca?
Yes.
Mayor Gutierrez?
Yes.
Motion passes 4 ayes.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
So we'll go ahead and give a moment for the city clerk to go ahead and open and count the return NPDES ballots.
For the one for Maria Luna, she didn't mark it. And the one for LPF Indian Empire, they said yes.
There was two more, right?
These two
Or
and
just
then
those?
one. Or Horton, and they said yes.
Was that the only one or?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. So basically, there would be an approval of recommendations 3 and 4, except
With
Maria Luna.
Yes, Maria didn't check off a box.
Didn't check off, okay. Okay, I entertain a motion to council to approve staff's recommendations numbers 3 and 4, except with the E. Maria Luna, motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Baca.
A second.
Okay, second by Councilmember Cabrera, and we'll go ahead and vote on this item.
Not take it?
Yep, perfect. Okay, motion passes except Maria Luna, since she didn't mark it. And then we'll go to item F3, which is public hearing on the formation of Community Facilities District. And we'll have a report of financial management services.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. The item before you tonight is actually a culmination of an item that was presented to you in April, specifically April 20th, in which council adopted a resolution of intent to form a district for park maintenance, specifically CFD 2021-01. This particular item tonight is the public hearing and that next step in finalizing the formation of the district, which is to receive public testimony and open a ballot of a residential developer that wanted to use this tool. Specifically, it is track number 31590, which is DR Horton, which was also in the previous action as well as part of the NPDES action. The CFD does not impact the general public, but it is a funding tool for the development community. They will be able to utilize this new particular CFD to mitigate the impacts of their proposed development. It will also be able to expand a tool that will be utilized for non-residential projects. And without this tool, there is no revenue stream for maintenance of park facilities constructed by non-residential projects. So just want to make sure that I'm clear that this particular CFD will be for future residential and non-residential projects, in which it is another mechanism that developers can go ahead and mitigate their impacts on the city. At this point, that concludes my comments, but I am available for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Brian, for the comprehensive report. And any council questions? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and open the hearing. Any public testimony, Madam Clerk?
None.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close the hearing. Deliberation. Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion by council to approve staff's recommendations numbers 2 and 3.
So moved.
Okay, motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Baca. Okay, second made by Councilmember Cabrera. Go ahead and please vote. Okay, we'll go ahead and give a moment on that one to, I think you need some time, right, on that?
They voted yes.
Yeah, but
2 and 3.
yeah, on 2 and 3. You need a moment?
No, they voted
No?
yes.
Okay. All right, and then I'll entertain a motion by council to approve staff's CSD recommendations numbers 4 and 5.
So moved.
Okay, motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Baca,
Second.
second made by Councilmember Marquez. Okay, item passes. We're now to F4, which is public hearing and adoption of the capital improvement plan for fiscal years 2021/2022 and 2022 and 2023. We'll have a report from Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. I'm very excited to discuss one of my favorite topics. So we're talking about the capital improvement plan. So with that, I have a little presentation to go over the information that's in there. This is the two-year budget, as the mayor alluded to. So this is our major identification of very important projects for our community. It consists of lots of different input, whether it's the general plan, master plans, potentially like bicycle master plans and parks master plans. It includes a balance of our recommendation of needs versus our financial capabilities. And consistent with, or to be consistent with our operating budget, we are proposing a two-year capital improvement plan budget, which is also consistent with the prior 2 years. It is not only just the two-year budget request, it also includes a five-year snapshot, if you will, of all the projects that are important to the city, whether they're funded or unfunded. So it also provides that five-year snapshot. And it is a long-range infrastructure planning tool, again, as we address things like the general plan and master plans that are in there. As previously, we've broken them up into categories for ease of review after it gets approved. So we do have them in those categories as listed above. We have not changed or added any categories, but that's just the way we have tabulated that to allow for ease of review. So the highlights here are we have requesting new funding on 45 projects. So these two fiscal years are asking for new funds on 45 projects, of which 24 of them are new. So over the 2 years, it's a little over $28 million is our request. And you can see as they're broken out to the two different fiscal years. So the first fiscal year is just a little over $16 million. And the second fiscal year, the two-year budget is just around $12 million. I did also want to point out that we have been very, very busy. And so we have completed lots of projects the last couple of years. So we've almost completed $48 million worth of projects, whether that's finishing the design, finishing environmental, finishing planning, or actually doing construction. And we also have, in addition to the $28.3 million, we are also requesting the carryover of about $75 million worth of active projects. So we, as you can see, almost over $100 million worth of projects, whether again, it's planning, design, or construction. And I also wanted to point out just for these next 2 years, anything that's over $1 million in terms of our funding sources, as you could see, we do have quite a bit of gas tax being proposed to be used. A lot of that's for paving, obviously. And then as you go down the list, you can see some of our restricted funds, whether that's for utilities or special districts. Some of those are very specific for types of replacements, whether they're facilities in terms of HVAC or park improvements. The co-op agreements, the Riverside County Flood Control is the funding source for that. That's the acronym there. And that equipment replacement is for HVAC replacement. So heating, ventilation, and air conditioning over at the PSB, the Public Safety Building. We are not requesting any general fund in these two years. So our recommendation as staff is to conduct a public hearing and then close the public hearing, and absent any compelling testimony otherwise, adopt the resolutions as stated in the staff report. We also are making a suggestion, as we did last 2 years ago. There are some potential minor tweaks at the end of this in terms of making sure our budget matches our carryovers. So if you wouldn't mind making the suggestion for myself, the Director of Public Works and City Engineer, making final minor tweaks, and then also asking for the Chief Financial Officer also to make any minor operating budget adjustments so that we all match at the end of the day. So that is our recommendation, and I'm available for any questions.
Okay, council questions of staff. We'll go ahead and have Councilmember Cabrera for questions.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that fun report. I know you like seeing all of this, right? New projects coming up and continuing the construction on a lot of things we have going on. So question, I noticed that in that presentation, the gas tax showed about 8.5 million or so. That's a large number compared to what at least I've seen in the past. So because I'm used to seeing like 3.2, 3.6. So does only a part of that 8 million or so go to roads? Or can you elaborate a little bit on what that 8 million or so is?
but 8.5 is specific for capital projects. We get about 4.2-ish every year. So that's the combined 2-year total. That's why you see that number. As the gas tax formula changes over the fiscal years, we start seeing that edge up a little bit. So in the past, you're correct. We've been about 3.8. I think this year is about 3.8 million. But collectively, over the next 2 years, we're anticipating the total amount that's being estimated by the state, which is about, close to that 8.5 million for those 2 years. So it's specific to capital projects and specific to paving projects.
Excellent. So, thank you. And does that mean that we will be able to spend that 8.5 million on road repairs, or only four and some change, and then the other 4 will go to other capital improvement projects?
No, that 8.4 is for the 2 different fiscal years. So it is for specifically the first fiscal year is 8.25-ish, and the second fiscal year 4.25 and 4.25 for the 2 fiscal years.
Got it.
Now we
Okay.
also get, so that's just the capital projects component of gas tax. We get quite a bit of other gas tax that's for operating budget, for crack seal potholing. So that's just the capital projects amount for gas tax.
Okay, thank you, thank you. And the last question, if I recall correctly, at the finance subcommittee, I know we went through this, and I don't know if that would be for you, Michael, or maybe Patty Solano. If I remember correctly, there's an item in here for a pump track, brand new pump track that was brought forth by staff. Do you mind sharing a little bit more, letting the community know about the soon-to-be pump track in Moreno Valley?
Thank you, Councilmember Cabrera. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. I would love to talk about the pump track because we're really excited about this too. It's exciting to share this project. A pump track is one of the newer competitive sports and fun sports for families that are sweeping at least the Inland Empire, but really the nation and the world internationally. We've been doing some research, and Temecula recently produced a pump track. Lake Elsinore, Menifee just received some bids, and we wanted in on the action. And we actually have, there's a great image of one right there. So what that is it's a circuit of curves and whoop-de-doos, as they call them in the industry. And it's for cyclists of all ages. And what you do is it's called a pump track because you really don't pedal all that much, and you use the momentum from your body to propel yourself forward. One of the really great things about this is it's for all ages. In this picture, it really defines what that can be. I think there's a little child on there with training wheels. There's adults out there, and they can all share it at the same time. And then, of course, you'll get your, sporty BMX riders out there as well. But the way the track can be designed is that you can have a turnoff where you can have kind of the inexperienced riders separate themselves from kind of the faster, older riders to keep it more safe. But we felt like building a track like this out at Marchfield Park, where we do have the land, and we do have a really popular skate park out there and a couple softball fields. It's a great use of the land, and building it the way we are proposing will allow us to have regional and national competitions out there. Red Bull hosts a lot of these competitions, and we wanted to make sure we could get in on the action. And by building the course the way we are anticipating and the size of the course, we feel we could host those in the future, bring a lot of people to the city and a lot of people out to Marchfield Park.
Thank you so much, Patty. Appreciate that. Very exciting project. And do you by any chance know approximately when we can expect the pump track to be fully built and open?
I would say in about 18 months to 2 years. We're going to start designing it right away. And hopefully it'll be sooner, but we just want to be on the safe side, right?
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, Councilor Marquez.
Thank you, Mayor. Patty, what's that material? Is that concrete or is it?
It's actually asphalt. Now, one of them might be concrete, but I think that's just an image. It's hard to tell on the top left. From what we've learned in our research and discussions with other cities that have this, that asphalt's really the way to go. Concrete doesn't really give as much and cracks, and that asphalt's the better product to use.
It looks exciting.
It does, doesn't it?
Thank you. Mike, You had said that 2021, 74.5 million. If you want to go back to your screen, I just, there on the very bottom, the 57 projects, does that include Merino Beach Drive Bridge?
Yes, sir.
It does.
Yes,
So it takes it takes majority of that cost, right?
that's correct.
And what was that? Do you recall what the cost was?
So the award of construction was 28.5, 29 million was the award of construction.
And none of that came from general fund,
That,
correct?
that is correct.
It's all, okay. That's all I have. Thank you very much, Mike.
Okay, and we'll go ahead and open the hearing. Any public testimony, Madam Clerk?
None.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close the hearing. Council deliberation. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion by council to approve staff's recommendations numbers 1 through 3.
I'll
Approve.
make a motion.
Okay, motion made by Councilmember Cabrera,
Second.
second made by Councilmember Marquez. Go ahead and we'll go ahead and vote. Okay, item passes. I entertain a motion by the Housing Authority to approve staff's recommendation number 1. Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Baca, second by Councilmember Marquez. We'll go ahead and vote on this item. And then there's one other item after that. Okay, great. Item passes. I entertain a motion by the CSD to approve staff's recommendation number 1.
So moved.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Baca. Second made by Councilmember Cabrera. And then we'll go ahead and call for the vote on this one. Okay, item passes. We're going to now go to City Council reports. So we'll go ahead and start off with Mayor Pro Tem Baca from March Joint Powers
Thank you, Mayor.
Commission.
Tonight, I'm providing an update from the March Joint Powers Commission meeting that was held on last week. The commission approved budget amendments for fiscal year 2021, and we also approved modification to the Veterans Industrial Park or VIP 215 project. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. We have a report from Councilmember Marquez from Riverside County Habitat Conservation Agency.
Yeah, board directors meeting on May 20th. City of Moreno Valley has collected a total of $23,061 in the SKR, which is the kangaroo rat, for September through September 2020 through March 2021. That concludes my report.
Okay, and then the Riverside County Transportation Commission, RCTC, very brief report. Just they released for public review environmental documents for the Coachella Valley San Gregorio Pass Rail Corridor Service Program. This is a major step in getting the passenger rail service between Los Angeles and the Coachella Valley. So that'll be a really big thing for that connection between LA and Coachella Valley. Public comments can be submitted up to July 6th. This concludes my report. And now we'll have a city manager's report, if there's one.
Thank you, Mayor, members, City Council. I just have one long item. First, welcome back. It's been a very long time. And I just really want to commend the mayor and the Mayor Pro Tem and City Council for your leadership during this time as we worked through the whole pandemic. As you know, we were the first city that really experienced the COVID-19 when the first plane that landed at the March Air Reserve Base over back in 2019 in December. And we responded to that. But ever since, we have done everything we can to really help the public and really address this issue. For example, when we had seniors that were trapped at home in which they could not receive any meals or go grocery shopping, it was the mayor and city council, through your leadership, we approved the mobile meals program, in which we're able to really run a food service center out of our CRC to help feed our seniors. Over 500 meals were provided to seniors on a weekly basis so that they could be fed. Also, you approve a senior eats program to help our restaurants. Also, it's still running today with 151 seniors being served. And altogether, about 120,000 meals. That's 120,000 meals that was provided to help our seniors through our various meal programs. Also, we're actually the only city, I believe, that we actually were giving out masks. And all the masks that we gave out, we did not purchase one mask. It was all through the donations of our businesses, the nonprofits, and all the various agencies that we work with. Through the efforts of all of you, you guys have reached out to all the different organizations, and we've received a lot of donations. Altogether, to date, we have given out 250,000 masks, and these are all free masks that our residents could pick up either at the library or at the Burke. Also, in addition to that, 350,000 units of hand sanitizers were provided at no cost to our residents. So I want to thank you for that. Also, when we found out that a lot of our um, residents, which they were at home because they couldn't go to school, and a lot of them didn't have any internet access, you approved the hotspots. So we were able to give out hotspots, or they could check out hotspots at the library. In addition, we developed a click program in which we actually started putting a Wi-Fi guard, free Wi-Fi to a lot of our city facilities. Now, over 23 different city facilities have free Wi-Fi. So you could come here, look for the free Wi-Fi sign, and you could access free Wi-Fi. Also, when we found out that a lot of our residents were having trouble with rental, you approved a rental assistance program. Over $6 million of rental assistance program has been given out. I want to thank you for your leadership on that one. Also, a lot of our small business under the Forward Mobile program that was also approved by the mayor and city council. And finally, when we found out that the vaccination was coming out, we're the second largest city in Riverside County, but we did not have a vaccination center. And all of you fought really hard working with the supervisor, with all the county, and also the state representative, when we fought really hard to get the vaccination center into Moreno Valley. So today we have that vaccination center in Moreno Valley. It's at the mall. It's actually now the only Riverside County fixed vaccination center in the city. And they can serve up to 8,000 vaccination a day. Now, we didn't stop there. We also work with Kaiser, and Kaiser has their own vaccination center serving our residents over at the mall as well. And then we did not stop there. Also, on Saturday, we had the free vaccination over at the CRC, working with Apple Urgent Care to have free vaccination on Saturday. So once again, I do want to thank the mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and the city council for your leadership during all this time. That concludes the city manager's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for that really nice report. Thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and go to Councilmember Marquez.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, Mike, you have done a heck of a job. Your whole staff has. I have to say it. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now. I want to thank all you individuals and the employees. I've encountered a couple of employees out there in the field, and they're happy to see me out there, and I hope I don't intimidate them when I'm out there. I'm not checking on them. I'm just out there curious to see what's going on out in Moreno Valley. So I just want to say, to staff, employees, all employees of Moreno Valley, keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. Fireworks. I know I don't have a solution to fireworks. When they had that big fire in Ontario recently, I thought, there it is, no more fireworks for us. That was our main supply depot, but it sure doesn't look like. I asked residents out there, if you see something, say something. Call PD, report your neighbors. We're not gonna tell a neighbor who called. That's confidential information. You see say something, please. Last night, about 9:30, 10 o'clock, my dogs were going crazy inside because somebody decided to shoot off those big rockets. So I got in my car and drove over there where I thought it was. And then all of a sudden behind me, they were again shooting off. So I go back the other way. And didn't happen. Couldn't catch anybody. So you will get caught who's doing this. You will get caught. And it's $1,000 fine. We will catch you. Same thing with illegal dumping. Thank you, Mike, both Mikes and staff. I think we've kind of cleaned up the east end of town, especially out by Alessandro and World Logistics Center Road where it meets. That place has been cleaned up. We've caught several people already, and we have fined them. I've caught one about 2 weeks ago, throwing trash over his side gate. I called Mike. Mike took care of it. PD came out with code, and we cited them for illegal dumping. So we're not kidding around out there. We will catch you and we will fine you. Let's keep Moreno Valley clean. Potholes. Now we got 74 million. Oh no, I take it back. $8 million for potholes. We'll continue filling potholes until we can pave the roads. If you see anything, again, see something, say something, and we'll get out there and do the potholes. I know I've had a lot of inquiries about Alessandro from, I want to say Redlands Boulevard to Gilman Springs Road. We know that's way overdue, way overdue. And unfortunately, that part of the road, it's a distance. What is it, Mike? About a mile and a half?
Approximately.
And a mile and a half, we can't repave it. It's got to be removed and built back up again. So I'm asking the residents that are complaining, we know it's a problem and we'll work on it. And it costs a lot of money and we will, believe me, we will get it done sooner, hopefully not later. So with that, Kaiser, Mike mentioned Kaiser. I went to the grand opening at Kaiser, the old Sears building. They opened up for their membership and local residents. Don't need an appointment, but they recommend you that make an appointment so you can get in and out quicker. It was very, how would you say, exciting for me because I had my shots and when I got there, there was people hesitant and I says, hey, you don't want to wear these masks forever. Get your shots. And we had a couple of them go in there and started the shot. So that was pretty good. So Kaiser's also, like that, Mike said, they're out there too. Tonight's, I just want to comment briefly on the committees. The committees, I wasn't against all the committees. But unfortunately, the way it was worded and the way it was put on the agenda, you already heard why. But I want everyone to know that was nominated, come back, and you will be approved. As soon as we could sit down and talk about these other committees that I had brought up, hopefully we can come to an agreement.
10 seconds, please.
And we'll get everyone out there and get them approved and get the commissions and committees going. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. We'll have Councilmember Cabrera.
Good evening, buenas tardes, Moreno Valley. It's really good to be back here with you once again. This is the first in-person city council meeting that we've had in approximately a year and 4 months or so. And it's really, really nice, just the feeling to be back in the council chamber once again, to see our city staff here, to be able to ask questions face to face, and to also have members of the public here. It's a very, very refreshing feeling. So just a couple of things here. I do want to start off by, just, the past year and 3-4 months or so has been extremely difficult. We've lost hundreds of thousands of people in this country, unfortunately. May they all rest in peace. One of them was our very own Dr. Carla J. Thornton. I was actually at the Renaissance Village visiting the seniors yesterday for Memorial Day. And, they had some music out there and really giving the seniors there an opportunity to kind of, get out and really get a feel for, what normal life is like again. And so it was really good to be out there. And I made sure to give Carla a recognition because we do still miss her a lot. So besides that, I also had a town hall last week. This was on Wednesday or Thursday. Time just is going by so fast, but the turnout was great. I do want to thank our staff, city clerk's office, our parks department, everybody who was involved in helping to make that happen. We have a member of the public here, Estela. Muchas gracias. Muchísimas gracias. She was there, and she actually came tonight to propose and to request, she brought it up that day, the Multicultural Committee. And I would like to, I would like to get the support, to support Estela's proposal to form a multicultural event, which will be comprised of members of various cultures in our community. Whether that be, folks from the African American community, the Muslim community, the Filipino American Association, the Chinese Inland Association. So I would like support from my colleagues as well to form that committee and start having these multicultural events. So if I could get the support from Mayor Pro Tem, and Councilmember Marquez, I'd appreciate that. Yes, thank you. Okay, thank you, Estela. Muchas gracias. In addition to that, I would like to, also request that we form a new ad hoc committee. As we know, unfortunately, homelessness has also gotten worse over the pandemic, over the past year and several months. And so I would like to request that we form a new ad hoc committee that will be called the Homelessness Joint Task Force. That will be specifically geared to talking about homelessness and finding solutions to the homeless issue in the city of Moreno Valley. And I would like to request that we form the ad hoc committee, that I would be appointed as the chair, and anyone else on the city council who would like to be the co-chair to help me to bring solutions to the city council. I'm requesting that assistance as well. Thank you, Marquez. Mayor Pro Tem, would you support? Do you support that? Okay. In addition, I would like to also propose the month of June is Pride Month. And I would like to propose as well, I would like to sponsor, and anyone on the city council who would like to co-sponsor a proclamation for Pride Month to bring it back to the June 15th city council meeting and formally adopt that. And I would like to ask for support from my colleagues for that as well. Mayor Pro Tem. I'll take that as a no, which is very unfortunate. And last but not least, I would like to give a special recognition to my fiance, who is in the public today. My beautiful, beautiful fiance, and my baby boy, who is in her womb, and it's the first time he is in the council chamber. Karina, thank you so much for being here with us and supporting me, and just so proud of you. You've been a warrior, and I mean, you've just completely changed my life. And once the baby boy is here, we'll let you know what the name is pretty soon. But just thank you for being here and walking beside me. Really, really appreciate you. So with that, I just want to wish everyone well. It's good to be back here in the council chamber again, and we'll see you on June 15th.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Baca?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say it is great to be back finally. It's been a long year, over a year, that the community, I mean the world, but I'm specifically mentioning Moreno Valley and everything that we had to put up with, the fear, the beginning, the unknown. And fortunately, we have excellent staff that's dedicated to the public, to our residents, whether they're seniors or veterans or low income. And I know that at the beginning, we were doing the food drives, and that some of the restaurants were awarded the Senior Eats, which is a program that's been funded for just about that much time, over a year. And these restaurants feed our seniors. Each restaurant, I think there's like 9, take food to like 20 families of seniors. And this is a program that's very important to me, because I know that we have seniors in our communities that don't have families, that don't have people that can go out and shop for them, that weren't able to take advantage of, like Costco and Sam's that had early hours for seniors. There was just a lot going on. And during the pandemic, I mean, no one knew what was going to happen, but our staff stepped up to the plate and took care of the community. And even just the simple gesture of providing free masks to our families means a lot. And the hand sanitizers that, you couldn't get anywhere else. I'm just so proud of our community and how we all came together to help each other. So I'm glad to be back. I know it's been a long time, but we came out, and hopefully, more people will get immunized. I'm immunized. I think everybody on the council is immunized. And please, if you're out there and you're listening, take the time to immunize yourself. And it's free. It's at the mall. Just show up, and they'll give you an appointment for your second dose. So please do that. On a brighter note, our amphitheater, we're going to have the groundbreaking this month. And please remember for the businesses, enter your business into the parade. And let's make this a great parade and with a lot of cards, a lot of floats. And if you're going to have a float, start working on it now, because the 4th of July is almost 4 weeks away. So start now and enter your cards into the parade. And right after that, we're going to have the 4th of July festivities. That's one of my favorite holidays. But remember that it's going to be at a new location. We're going to be at the amphitheater, and the staff will be there. Everyone will be there to help. And please come out and celebrate. And hopefully by that time, everyone will have their vaccinations and people will feel safer by coming out. And there was a speaker earlier that wanted our fines for the fireworks and the dumping to be raised. They have been raised, so I think maybe he missed the meeting. But we're up to $1,000 now for fines for fireworks and for illegal dumping. And illegal dumping is just like incredible to me because, why are you dumping trash in someone else's property on the side of the road? Keep going. The dump is there. Just keep going down Ironwood and you'll run into the dump. It's really not that expensive. It's just easier for people to dump their trash. And as far as Mr. Cabrera, Councilman Cabrera, you want more commissions and you want an ad hoc committee. You couldn't even approve what we had on the calendar today. So that really, really offends me. And I think that we need to support the mayor and we need to get the business of the city going. It's not, like I said, it's not nothing personal. I don't know everybody that's being appointed. I don't. But I trust our mayor that he's doing his job, and that's his job, is to make the appointments and for us to ratify them. We're not supposed to be sitting up here nitpicking. And the bottom line is, I'm guessing that the 2 council members that voted against this wanted their people appointed and they didn't get it. So they're going to pick up their marbles and go home. And we're not going to get our commissions tonight. And I apologize to emergent leaders. Even the Citizens Public Safety Committee cannot continue after this month. So, you explain it to them. You explain why you voted no, why you had a little tantrum because your people didn't get appointed. So that's all I have to say tonight. And hopefully we can get this back on the agenda and vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Yes, it is very unfortunate, what occurred tonight, and I do apologize. I think it's been made clear multiple times in many years, and the 2 council members that did vote no have been here, I believe, with the previous city attorney, and where it was opined that the mayor makes the appointments, and it can be presented as such. So we've had this discussion multiple times. It's not a matter of holding Zoom meetings or interview meetings one-to-one with an applicant or anything like that. No, that's not how the process works in the general law city. I've always entertained that if you have someone that you're interested in getting appointed, to reach out to me and say, hey, I think this person is good, for whatever reason. Like I mentioned, not everyone will receive an appointment because there's not enough seats for everyone. They do have to be screened. I do ask for objectivity. I think that's very important, that you're going to look at both sides of the issue and make an analysis of that, look at the data, do some research, and then make a decision. It shouldn't be based on your emotions. And so I personally believe and agree with Mayor Pro Tem Baca that one of the reasons probably, I don't know what was the reason why. Maybe, I don't know if there's an election coming up in District 2, or I just don't know. Maybe, obviously, like she mentioned, maybe your individuals didn't get appointed. maybe that's the case. But again, like the city attorney had mentioned, whoever's in this seat, that's the role. I do want to point out as far as recognition for Pride Month. I think that is very, very important. Just so you know, I participated in the Pride Month March of LA. This was 2 years ago, and then the year prior to that was in Boston. And it was really, really great to be there. And you know, one of the reasons I did that was because I believe that it's important to value everyone, their lived experiences, their culture, their values, who they love. I think that's very, very important. And I will always continue to do that. And so I will issue a mayoral recognition of Pride Month, and that will be issued. And we will do that going forward. But we will not play these political games that unfortunately some members here on this council want to do by proposing certain committees and commissions and using that as leverage for their mayoral run, because that's really what it is. And so that I will not accept. We will not allow that here. In terms of something good that's happening in the city, a lot of great things are happening. Like city manager mentioned, we have the mask giveaways that happened, the mobile meals. I was there with you, Mike. I recall that. Also the senior eats. Many seniors, whether it was at Cupcake Espresso or Woody's, like I didn't even know who the owner of Woody's was until, you know, one day I was at Costco and he saw me. And anyways, so I just thought, you know, it was amazing to hear from him the amount of people that it's actually helped. And we've gotten letters and all sorts of things from folks, you know, to continue it. And of course, it can't always continue for a very long time. So we've been able to do a lot in this past year, and that's a result of the great city manager that we have, the great staff that we have, my leadership with the support of the council as well, really just moving this city forward. We got a lot of great things, and we should be very proud. We should be very proud of our city. You know, despite the issues that happened here tonight, you know, we should still be very proud because there's a lot of good things that are happening. The redevelopment of the mall that's coming up, the town center, our road improvements, the amphitheater, a lot of projects for our youth. Even though the ELC was not approved tonight, we still have the teen spot in memory of my great friend, Councilwoman Dr. Thornton. So we got a lot of great things that we should be proud of, and I am proud of those things. At this moment, I would like to end the meeting in memory of the peace officer Vaca, who passed away, I believe it was 2 nights ago, and we will adjourn the meeting in his memory. Good night.